What's up, guys? I'm Dr. James Cellini. I'm a board-certified veterinary neurologist with over 12 years of practicing veterinary medical experience and over 20 years of veterinary experience across all levels, from kennel worker cleaning up poop to boarded veterinary neurologist doing spinal surgery. I recently came across the trailer for Clifford, the Big Red Dog, which is being remade and re-released later this year. I was a huge fan of Clifford as a kid. I remember laughing at the book and thinking that the idea was just funny in general. And after watching the trailer, as a veterinarian, I saw some things that you might want to know before you purchase a puppy and how to care for a puppy, especially in a big city like New York. So without further ado, I'm going to get into the video. If you don't mind hitting the like and subscribe button before we get started, I would greatly appreciate it. And maybe leave a comment below if you so desire. Thank you very much.
You may not believe it, but there is magic all around us. There are times it can be hard to find.
Did you bring your garbage to school?
But sometimes...
But one thing I'm noticing right off the bat is this pet store that she wanders into. I'm assuming this is like a magical pet rescue or something like that, which is cute. They have a guinea pig and a rabbit living together. That's kind of like a common cultural misconception that you should have guinea pigs and rabbits live together. They do share some similarities, like they have very similar gastrointestinal tracts. They're both what we call hindgut fermenters. I mean, they have a really large cecum that handles most of their processing of their food. But they really shouldn't live together because rabbits can transmit some respiratory infections to guinea pigs. And they have a little bit of some different nutritional and some kind of subtle supplemental requirements, like vitamin C, for instance, that you need to give. So they can't really have the exact same environment. I had guinea pigs growing up as a kid. They're wonderful pets. I absolutely adore them. They're the cutest things in the world. Yeah, technically you shouldn't be having rabbits and guinea pigs living close together in proximity.
The magic finds us.
Look at you.
So Clifford is clearly he's modeled after a Labrador Retriever. I think in the original books in the 60s, he was inspired kind of by a bloodhound, if I had to guess. It looks to be a red Labrador Retriever. I don't think that's a coincidence, seeing as how the AKC recently listed and has been listing the Labrador Retriever as the #1 most popular dog breed in America for a few years in a row now. So that's probably some advantageous marketing, if I had to guess. He's obviously red, and red is not a naturally occurring color, at least not red like you see in the movie here. Labradors are, black, brown, yellow, that sort of thing. So in case you're wondering, sometimes people ask me can this actually happen? Is this a real thing? No, red fur is not a real thing, just so you know.
Uncle Casey, so cute.
I'm so red.
How big is he gonna get?
That depends, doesn't it?
On what?
On how much you love him.
I wish we were big and strong, and the world couldn't hurt us.
So clearly she loves Clifford very much, because loving a dog is directly related and has been proven scientifically to increase their growth, as you see here. Clifford is now a giant breed dog, and giant breed dogs in general are prone to many problems, mainly things such as arthritis, getting a twisted stomach, what we call gastric dilation and volvulus, or a GDV, as well as a number of spinal malformations that are under the umbrella of what we call wobbler syndrome, which basically means a malformed spine that can result in arthritic changes and thus compression and instability of the spine, pushing on the spinal cord and nerves. Giant breed dogs have a lot of kind of side effects of being so big.
Uncle Casey!
I don't think they're going to cover things like wobbler surgery or GDV surgery in the movie, if I had to guess.
For school.
About the dog? Clifford, be a good boy and drop it.
See Clifford injure the owner right there. Fortunately, he's not owned by certain YouTube celebrities. Otherwise, he would have been euthanized immediately.
Bless you.
There's obviously a sneeze. Clifford appears to be having a little bit of some rhinitis or maybe some nasal irritation from the feathers in the pillow. That's a regular sneeze. Dogs can also do what's called a reverse sneeze, which looks like this. And That is a result of irritation kind of farther back in their throat, what we call like the oropharynx or nasopharynx. So if you see a dog doing that, it's not a huge emergency necessarily, but it may mean that they've got some irritation back there and they need to get stuff like Benadryl, maybe even a steroid shot or like irrigating the area, stuff like that. But if you see that, it's not a huge cause for alarm, but I would definitely call or see your vet to get it checked out.
Try to hide him or something?
It's yours. No one will even notice.
So one thing I would recommend just in general when owning a dog is to use a chest harness to walk them rather than a neck lead around their neck. Just because, especially with a giant dog like him, he's going to pull the owner and put a lot of pressure on his neck and constantly be doing this. And that's obviously no good, and that can predispose him to either just developing some soreness around here, or it may exacerbate things like a malformed neck or a disc herniation, stuff like that. May make some current issues worse if he's constantly putting pressure right there. So definitely use a chest harness instead of a neck lead. So Clifford is quite large, and he's going to produce a large amount of stool and urine when he's going out for walks. And according to New York City sanitation dog laws, each person who owns or controls a dog must remove any feces left by that dog on any sidewalk, gutter, street, or public area and dispose of it in a legal manner. So given that Clifford weighs, I'm guessing, like 800 pounds, he's probably going to produce a very large stool pile.
That is one big pile of shit.
I'm guessing he needs like a garbage bag each time to pick it up. So that's going to be no fun. I don't think the movie's going to address that concern, however.
Just a big. Whew. Why don't we get you on the scale here, bud? I'm just gonna write heavy.
What did you say?
So Clifford is going to the vet, and the vet that they choose here is a very large corporation called Banfield. They have a huge network of general practices around the country. But fun fact, Banfield is owned by the Mars company, and Mars also owns VCA, which has a combination of general practices and specialty clinics across the country. So this is, you're seeing now in like media, the corporatization of veterinary medicine becoming more and more of a thing. Also a fun fact, a dog of Clifford's size, at least in theory, should be able to get the same amount of vaccine as a smaller dog. For instance, if you give a dog a rabies vaccine, a lot of people sometimes think that with a smaller dog, they don't need as much rabies vaccine, but that's just not how vaccines work. They're not volume dependent. So a dog's Clifford size wouldn't get like 10 vaccines per se. He would still get one, the same dose that like a regular sized Labrador Retriever would get. So again, this would present a huge amount of liability for the owners in New York City, having a dog off leash and of this size and attacking a person. Again, I really hope that Clifford is owned by somebody who's willing to work with a behaviorist and not too rash to euthanize him based on his behavioral issues.
Oh, look, they're playing.
So recently it's been shown that the use of brachycephalic or smush-faced dogs in advertising and in movies and billboards, posters, has caused people to start to accept them more and more and drive more and more of extreme brachycephaly breeding in breeds like pugs and French bulldogs, English bulldogs, Boston terriers, those sorts of breeds. In general, I am totally against the creation and breeding of brachycephalic dogs. These dogs have a tremendous amount of health problems. They have a very difficult time breathing and thermoregulating. Also very predisposed to spinal malformations, disc herniations, gliomas, which is a malignant tumor in the brain. I made a video about French bulldogs a little while ago. But in general, the use of brachycephalic dogs in media and for advertising purposes, I'm totally against, because I don't think we need to be creating dogs like this anymore. We need to be creating dogs with a more normal body type, with a nose, with a tail, and with a longer back, and not as short of legs.
Well, you don't see that every day.
Maybe it's time to feed him.
All right, so Clifford clearly needs some obedience training, and I really hope that his owners are willing to get on top of all the New York City ordinances and keep him well trained and clean up after him and give him the exercise and the love that he deserves. So hopefully Clifford does all right, and I look forward to seeing the movie with my baby as soon as she's old enough to realize what movies are. I was just kind of messing around there and just trying to have some fun. So I hope you enjoyed that. I'll be back with a little bit more educational videos, maybe some reaction videos coming up soon. Again, if you don't mind hitting the like and subscribe button, I'd greatly appreciate it. Maybe leave a comment, tell me I suck. That'd be great. Thank you very much. I'll see you later.